Well, good morning, KOTA territory. Welcome to KOTA's first sip here exclusively streaming on Facebook and YouTube. I'm Humberto Giles Sanchez.
And I'm Mimi Herrick.
Make sure to grab your cup of coffee, cup of water, whatever you
Take a
sip on
seat.
in the morning.
Join us.
Yes, and we'll be talking about that morning routine later on in this show. So kind of starting off, we are focusing a little bit on
invasive species. So I wanted to shout this out because on Monday we ran a story about an invasive species that is coming up across the country. It is the Asian needle ant, and it has a sting that can sometimes be dangerous. So we wanted everyone to be aware of that. They're hard to track, but there are reports of people having serious allergic reactions to needle ant stings. Scientists wanted to inform people about the ants because they reach their yearly peak numbers in July and August. So they're coming up. So we wanted to talk a little bit about prevention in terms of invasive species, because there are a lot of ways that you can do your part to make sure that these species don't spread.
Yes, and sorry about that. I went in my mug, so it probably sounded really muffled and really loud. Yeah, no, we are talking about kind of ways that you can prevent it. There's also other things that you can kind of look out for when it comes to prevention of an invasive species, how you can kind of lessen it. You know, we've heard a lot of stuff go on specifically with plants. Those are a little bit more common since it's a tad bit easier to obtain. But yeah, kind of talking about the Asian needle ant a little bit. Kind of some of the things that they are known for a little bit is, you know, they are carnivorous, and they kind of look for prey, flies, beetles, grasshoppers, which are readily found here in KOTA territory. You know, and there are, I guess the main thing about these ants is that people can have an allergic reaction to the ant bite. And that's kind of what you need to be aware of, especially if you don't know if you are allergic, especially if, I mean, a lot of people probably don't know that they,
yeah. I mean, I don't even know, right?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know.
I've never seen one,
but yeah. But yeah, that's kind of one of the bigger things when it comes to these bites. And we are in the season of them, well, about to be in the peak of the season that you would tend to find them, which is July through August.
Yeah.
So kind of watch out. There are resources available there, out there. I don't know if you can shout it out, but there are resources available.
Yeah, so I got this information from CNN. They had a great thing that we were able to run on our shows. But if you go to CNN, they have an article that details everything you need to watch out for and everything you can do. Again, just CNN, and you can search for Asian needle ant on there.
Or you can, I was gonna say, or you can also look at Asian needle ant. Kind of look at the specificities of it, where they are, what kind of what region they're prominent in, and stuff like that. Especially if you're going out and exploring the U.S., which is very vast and it has a lot of different things that you can do, especially during this time of year. But some other things, if you are traveling, to look out for is kind of making sure that if you do end up going on kind of like a naturey, kind of a nature
hiking vacation, you want to definitely clean your boots.
Yes, clean
that
your
is
boots.
a crazy way that invasive species
check your luggage, check everything once you're done hiking. Kind of the same thing that you do when you check for ticks after you're done hiking. Make sure to check everything before you get on that plane and come back, or before you get in that car and travel back here, car and stuff like that, train, whatever you do.
And if you are a boat owner, another thing to keep an eye out for is cleaning your boat thoroughly before transporting it to a different body of water. Zebra mussels are a huge invasive species in a lot of lakes in the Midwest. I know that they're a problem.
Yes, they're a problem at Pactola. You know, that has been confirmed by South Dakota Game Fish and Parks. They are a big problem there, so whenever you do enter that body of water, make sure that you clean your boat after you take it off, if you're planning to kind of switch from bodies of water, so that way it doesn't spread, especially because when it comes to mussels, they are very tiny.
Yeah, one of the ways that I've done this in the past to clean a boat, to make sure that invasive species are gone and, you know, no water damage or whatever, is using water and vinegar. That'll really help make sure and get rid of that. Like, it doesn't leave water spots. It makes it hard for the mussels to want to live there because to them vinegar is gross. Well,
it's not only to them, it's also gross for me. I don't like vinegar.
You're not a vinegar.
No,
okay.
I'm not a vinegar.
We'll get into this another time. But like, using vinegar and water is a great way to do it. Boat soap, another great way to do it. You can find that at pretty much any marina anywhere. So.
And then also, if you plan on getting any fancy plants for the area and for your garden, make sure that you kind of get plants that aren't invasive or will not tend to kind of compete with the local fauna and kind of outcompete them and eventually replace them, because we do not want that. We appreciate all the local fauna that we have, flora and fauna that we have here in western South Dakota. But kind of some specific examples here. You've heard a lot of the different things that happen down south in the southern part of the U.S. with kudzu, the ivy.
Hasn't that like taken over forests?
It has, yes. At one point, it was promoted for, I believe it was promoted for farmers to kind of start growing it, and then that fell off, and now it's just all over the place. And there are pictures out there that you can look up where kudzu has taken private. It looks cool, but it's kind of sad when you think about it, because it has replaced a lot of flora in that area, and it has killed a lot of flora in that area that would have been there if kudzu wasn't a big problem there. Another big thing that's actually growing in popularity and kind of trending is running bamboo. So bamboo, if it's not grouped, or I guess, if it's not grouped bamboo, so the bamboo that likes to clump bamboo, if it's not that, it usually tends to spread out and grow everywhere. And it's also very resilient. So it's hard to kill. Not only that, but it is very, the outside, you've felt bamboo before. Yeah, it's very tough. So even trying to go over it with a lawnmower can be dangerous because of how tough that is. But yeah, so if you are planning to kind of look into investing into bamboo, probably try clump bamboo that likes to clump or group. Avoid running bamboo. Those running species are invasive and can eventually outcompete the local flora in an area. And I know that you're probably saying, it's like, well, bamboo can't grow in South Dakota. There are species of bamboo that can.
So please, definitely be careful here. Another one that I just wanted to touch on, like a quick one, is don't release aquarium fish and plants into lakes. If you're going to get a pet, you should commit to the responsibility of having it and keeping it happy in a good home. Make sure you can commit to it after you decide that you are going to get a fish or something. This includes those carnival goldfish. I know that those can sometimes be a big one, but they do not live in ponds here. They should not be living in ponds here. They should be living in a fish tank.
It's kind of interesting, especially with, a lot of summer activities going on, a lot of fair stuff going on. If you do end up winning one of those goldfish, make sure that you take care of it. Like as said, you take care of it. Make sure you don't release it into the wild, as you've heard of those tales. Some kind of, I'd say, horror stories of giant goldfish that you see, and there are pictures of those, and they do grow up. They do grow to pretty big sizes, and they are pretty invasive to the area, and they can cause very significant damage if you tend to do that, as they do. As fish also tend to reproduce pretty quickly. Yes. But yeah, so don't do that. It's not good for the local environment.
Yes.
But
another semi-relevant, I guess very relevant thing here was on Wednesday. Yesterday we talked about fire prevention, because it is that time of year officially. We had a little fire in Rapid City. I guess not a little fire, but a fire in Rapid City on Tuesday afternoon. So we just wanted to remind everyone of the easy fire prevention tactics that there are if you are, planning on maybe doing anything with a fire. I found a really interesting fact, actually, that humans cause 85% of all wildfire occurrences every year, and that is from the National Interagency Fire Center. And I thought that was really sad that humans start so many wildfires, because we don't want to hurt our forests like that.
And there are ways that you can there are ways you can prevent it. Some of the stuff that I got, or some of the resources I use to look for kind of the local fire danger, kind of little things, notices that you can kind of take advantage of and look into, or is the City of Rapid City website if you're here in Rapid City. National Weather Service, they usually have some pretty good kind of recommendations when it comes to fire prevention. Then you have Black Hills Energy website, who kind of have a public safety power shutoff program, kind of making sure to, in those days where it can get, the fire danger can get really bad around here, they tend to kind of
Yeah.
let let their customers know that they're shutting off that power.
Yes, and if you're curious about when or if that's going to happen in your area, we do have a story on our website, kotatv.com, where you can head over there, take a look into it a little, and if you are concerned about the power shutoffs in your area, make sure that you call Black Hills Energy.
Contact them, let them know via call or email. I believe they do have an email there on their website as well. But there are other things that you can do. As mentioned, check fire restrictions if you're going outdoors or doing an outdoor activity like grilling. That can also impact kind of the fire safety in the area. Campfire safety, if you do plan on having a campfire, if there seems to be a red flag warning, you should probably avoid those campfires or maybe even grilling. Equipment and vehicle precautions, if you do have a leak in your car, make sure you get that leak fixed. It is not uncommon for fire to start if there is a leak of some liquid in your car, fluid in your car.
Yeah.
Also fireworks. If you do plan on using fireworks at some point this summer, make sure that you use them responsibly and make sure that you read your cities or towns kind of limitations and firework kind of law behind it.
And people go crazy here for the 4th of July, I'll tell you that much.
Yes.
Last year was my first one, and I've never seen more fireworks in my entire life than in Rapid Valley on the 4th of July.
Yes, it's kind of, it's funny, especially coming from, we're both coming from Chicago, and you see the fireworks at Navy Pier, but then you go here and you see them everywhere. It's kind of, it's kind of
crazy, because in Illinois they're illegal, like fully no, never, not even a permitted day or whatever.
Yeah, and it's kind of, and I mean, you have to have like permission and whatnot, but and then it's mainly a Navy Pier. You can't do it inside this big city because of all the skyscrapers and stuff like that. But
excuse me, sorry.
How dare you? How dare you?
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sick.
But then there's also, like I said, there's I mentioned it a little bit earlier. It's kind of the public safety power shutoff. Contact Black Hills Energy if that is your energy provider, or how I like to call it, the pss, pss,
the noise you make at your cat.
Yes. But then you also have, if you see a fire, report it. The sooner that you get that fire reported, the faster that kind of the fire departments can work on it, whether it's volunteer or kind of the Rapid City Fire Department or whatever fire department you are
closest to.
Yes.
Yeah,
Make sure you report it ASAP.
Yeah, the last one would be stay informed. So that means download the KOTA First Alert weather app.
Yes.
Because we'll have the fire danger information there, and it'll help you understand the current conditions so that you can take the proper precautions when you are out and about doing things, and also because we will have the latest on any wildfires in our area on the KOTA First Alert weather app, and also just the regular KOTA News app.
Also, if there is another way that you can check it. If you don't have access to a phone that you can get the application with, you can also look at the city websites that you're in. I believe almost every city around here in the Black Hills has information of what you need to know for fire danger. If not, you can also look at like I said, the National Weather Service website and any other local resources in the area as to what you can do during red flag warnings or periods of very dry conditions in western South Dakota.
Yes.
Finally.
Yeah, we're on our last topic.
Yes, we're finally talking about...
hold in my cough for the rest of this.
Hey, and if you can't, it's all right, because we've all been there at some point.
It's really sad, guys.
Yes. But now we're talking about morning routines. Ending it on a good note. Kind of morning routines and how you start your day and the benefits of how you start your day.
It's really important to stay consistent. You brought up a lot of good benefits this morning on Good Morning Black Hills. And I think one that really stood out to me was increased energy and productivity. When you have a good morning routine, you can feel more energized throughout the day.
Yes, and a lot of the time, one of the things that you mentioned that I usually, part of my morning routine is drinking a cup of water before I drink anything else. Usually, so that cup of water, I don't remember where I heard it from, but usually drinking that cup of water before anything helps you stay hydrated. But prior to that, I know that you mentioned it, and it brought it back up. I was like, oh, I do that for a sole reason. Why?
Yes.
Because it helps me be a little bit happier and hydrated during the day.
Yes, no one likes to be dehydrated. This is something that I personally really struggle with because we get in early and my first instinct is coffee pot. But I've been working on it. If you drink like a big glass of water before that, it'll just set you up for success in terms of hydration for the rest of the day, because coffee is really not good for hydration as much as we might want it to be, right?
Right, unfortunately. I think another reason why I drink the cup of water is because before I come in, I have to make sure that I'm hydrated enough to drink the 2 cups of coffee I usually drink here at the station.
Yeah, it's such a routine. Now it's like, oh yeah, first cup of coffee before the show, second cup during the show.
Yes.
And then back to water, but
yes.
Yeah.
But then there's also some other reasons why your morning routine can be beneficial to you. A couple of those reasons is energy and productivity. That increased energy with that routine makes you feel refreshed, energized, getting ready to start that day, making sure that you're ready for whatever you have to do for that day. Reduce stress and anxiety. It helps a lot with that. I know that once it can help if you plan out your day ahead of time, and also that morning routine can be a big part of that. Make sure that you're not stressed and anxiety driven throughout the day, making sure that you're not always thinking that, oh, maybe I'm forgetting something in the morning, because you know, I definitely have been there.
Yeah.
I've done that as
100%.
well.
Another thing I thought was interesting is it can help you with time management,
Yes.
and it help you establish some healthy habits. You know, the morning is one of the most important times of the day for me personally, because it really helps me set myself up for success throughout the day. To-do lists, coffee, breakfast, being nutritious and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean, it is said that, you know, breakfast can be one of the more important meals of the day.
It really will set you up for a great day. One of the things that I was reading online, actually, at Fluent Health, I found all these tips that were backed by neuroscientists, is a nutritious breakfast with protein and fiber and not a ton of sugar will help you feel full and energized for longer, rather than those sugary kind of cereal type of foods. You know, maybe opt for like an egg.
Yeah.
Some eggs, some
eggs,
toast,
some toast, yes.
maybe some vegetables, some high fiber vegetables.
Yes, you know, I was going to say even some fruit in that it can even go a long way, especially if you don't really have some of that time to make that kind of, to start cooking some stuff. Maybe grab a fruit on the way out, stuff like that. Grab a couple of fruits on the way out. That
high fiber fruits can be really, really good for you in the morning.
100%, because usually, I mean, the way that I usually start is eating a peanut butter and jelly with a banana. That's
I
usually
love that.
That's my go-to breakfast.
Do you ever put the banana in the peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
When I'm feeling adventurous.
Adventurous.
You know, yes, because usually the jellies that I use don't really pair with bananas. Usually I go for a apple jelly, and I've tasted it. It's not my favorite with the banana.
Apple jelly is an interesting choice.
It's pretty good. That's my go-to. But
I used to be the queen of peanut butter, banana, honey toast. That used to be a breakfast staple for me.
I will say that's usually my go-to as well. If I don't have jelly, it's usually honey. I replace jelly with honey, and that's also really good. I think with some oats in there. Oh,
and then. Getting on this health, now that we're on the healthy habits train, right? Another thing that I wanted to mention is meditation and exercise can be really, really beneficial for you in the morning. Intentional movement in the mornings helps increase blood flow in the body and boost your energy, mood. It'll reduce your anxiety, and then meditation can help you focus and ease that anxiety that really can get you in that zen before you have to go off to work or school or whatever you have.
And you know, like I think some of that meditation stuff I need to start doing, because sometimes I wake up and I am always like ready to go and on the go and don't really take some time to actually just sit.
You know, another thing that I want to mention that wasn't necessarily a tip that I found from a professional, but one that works for me. Try not to scroll on your phone first thing in the morning. I have a really bad habit. I really struggled with that. But that blue light on your phone can be really bad, and then also being on social media can be very draining. So you don't want to start your day by draining the energy that you just got from sleeping.
Exactly. You want to start off on on the good side of the bed, not on the bad side of the bed, right? Say that saying goes. But yeah, no. Hopefully, some of these tips can help you kind of get ready for your day, kind of be safe this summer, especially for a lot of those that like to do more outdoor activities, such as grilling, camping, hiking, stuff like that. And of course, you know, be cautious if you do kind of start planting stuff around this time of the year, and be on the lookout for any you know, bug bites that might not necessarily be common, or you might have seen for the first time this year.
Yeah, when in doubt, go to the doctor.
Yes,
but thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. I'm Mimi Herrick.
And I'm Humberto Sanchez. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your morning.